Sphere homepage, what you're seeing here are a bunch of pre-built workspaces across different markets and workflows. We've got around 28 pre-made workspaces for the market now. Those have been built by Enverus for the public, right? Whether you're working across European or Asian markets or here in North America, we've probably got a pre-built workspace already built for you. These are standardized views that we deliver to clients, and honestly, internally across all organizations as a company workspace. They're built by Enverus for the public. They can be built by your own company and shared across your desks, and then you can also build your own customized personal view of the market. I'm going to step into our energy markets workspace here and kind of start to show you some of the new functionality. One thing I wanted to point out, one of the key benefits of moving to a new web-based platform is how quickly these views can be updated and distributed, either to the public or across your desks. Just a simple refresh of the browser. Everyone's looking at the same up-to-date information. As you make a change, others can see it. Walking through the platform really quickly, you're kind of seeing within a workspace. If you remember the old Enverus desktop tool, you had the concept of a workspace with pages built inside the workspace. These are going to be pre-made, your own view of the market. Same thing is in the same concept is true inside MarketView Sphere. We'll have a workspace, and within there, we'll have all the different pages built out. So whether you're wanting to look at gas curves, you're wanting to look at power curves, you can kind of pre-make and create your own views in one place. And then within a page, you'll see there's a bunch of different types of data windows, or what we call widgets. Whether you're looking at live tickers from the market, you're looking and analyzing historical data sets, either from a charted view or a grid view. And then if you remember, we had a quote widget, so we've kind of recreated that and revamped it to be faster and better inside the new front end. Quickly, I just want to identify one point, right? Like we saw almost a 20-point swing in trading on April 8th, where we settled previous day around 112, and we dropped all the way down to 94 settle on April 8th. This is kind of really, really interesting, right? A lot of the times desks can follow this in real time. They can visualize it, understand it is one of the bigger questions that come up. So what drove the drop in price? This is where Instant Analyst comes in. If you're unaware of Instant Analyst, it's the new AI platform that Enverus has brought to the market that summarizes and analyzes data from trusted content in our knowledge base, including third-party providers, public sources, and Enverus's own intelligence team. I want to flip over to Instant Analyst and kind of give you a lay of the land really quickly. We can ask a question through natural language to our Enverus intelligence reports. We can also come into Inside Edge, where we work with third-party data providers like your Opus, Pexapark, Fast Markets, and others that will be coming on board in the future. Let's go ahead and use Opus as our trusted content today. So instead of spending hours digging through reports, trying to understand like what's driving price events, let's go ahead and just ask it a really simple question. Why did crude prices drop so drastically on April 8th? While this is thinking, it's going to be reading from that trusted content, and it's going to summarize and point out what it believes is causing the drop in price. Right, so really quickly, it's giving me an overview that due to Opus's content, pointing out that the ceasefire, what's happening with the Strait of Hormuz is causing a major impact in the price collapse. Something I like to point out with Instant Analyst, what's really important is we don't just kind of look into the market and come up with a fake response. Everything we're reading from and training our models off of, and not really training, but what we're using as our knowledge base is commentary from the vendor itself. So everything that you're getting a summary and analysis against is going to be grounded in content from Opus themselves. And then really quickly on the fly, any of those reports and data points that we read from to respond is accessible here on the right, live in the screen. So now that we've maybe looked at using Opus to see some history, let's maybe go ahead and look at and ask Enverus's intelligence team, what does Enverus forecast the price of crude oil to be in the future? All that thinks it's going to be looking for some content that our team has kind of pumped out. Really quickly, we're seeing Brent crude is looking for the remainder of the year to be around $95 a barrel, and we're expecting 2027 to be $100 a barrel. And you can see we've got a lot of references that we're kind of referencing that's forecasting our predictions. And just to kind of show you, if you were to pull up one of them, our very own Kyle on our intelligence team actually writes a weekly report for our market view audience that is really a short-term macro series that looks at the most relevant oil and gas fundamentals and things that are happening in the market. And this is where we're reading from our content to see our very own intelligence thoughts and projections on where they see things are going to project in the market and what factors are driving it. So this is something that you can pull through the Enverus news widget, but it's also through Instant Analyst. You can kind of get access to this to answer your questions with true understanded content. This is where Query Edge comes in. So think of Query Edge as your AI assistant across the Sphere platform. Okay, things that it can do: it can help you find data, it can build live formulas for you, and it even acts as your assistant to guide you through workflows. So it's trained on our internal documentation. It's trained on years of data points and things that you need to be successful in market view. And so instead of pulling data, building spreads, I'm just going to describe through natural language what I want Query Edge to do for me. So I got a prompt that I've already got predefined. And basically what I'm doing is I want Query Edge to act like a crude analyst. I high level want it to pull the major global crude benchmarks. I want it to build spreads for me on the live. And I want it to create an interactive workspace where I can visualize all this data in one get-go. So what the system is doing behind the scenes, it's identifying the relevant benchmarks across multiple data providers. So I don't have to go into the data tree, spend time finding symbols. I don't have to understand when I need to align the calendars for my spreads and my formulas. I don't need to understand the methodology and the logic behind the scenes on how to actually build that end result or that end formula. And it's also going to be summarizing all that as the AI system is building and working through the scenario. And it's going to place and actually build me a workspace that I can extract all the data live in the market. So again, something that might take someone who's super experienced with market view, it could take you 15 minutes, could take someone 20 minutes understanding how to build and save your own formulas. It can now be done in the fraction of time, right? Like we just watched this live, maybe take up to a minute and a half. This is a tremendously time save for the everyday user of market view. Just to show you a little bit of the model and what it spit out, it went ahead and found my benchmark crude marks, whether it's from ICE Europe, from NYMEX, GME. It's building my formulas, right? These are live readings. If you know our market script language, this is where we can build live symbols. And it's telling me the formula that it built it with. And then it's giving me a quick snapshot what the spreads are telling me based on the data now. And then lastly, it's built my new workspace. So let's just go ahead and fire up that new workspace that it built for me live. And really quickly, it's actually taken the data and it's put it on a single quote for me, and it's started to graph out the symbols down below. Now, half the battle is pulling the data, understanding the symbol that we need to build for the formula, and trying to get that on a workspace. We're really moving into a place in the future where Query Edge and our AI is going to help users interact with the data more than have to sit in the system and take time to build it. Crude. And we're going to bring in a new widget because what I want to do here is I want to look at how the market is positioning forward and by analyzing the forward curve in the platform. So let's go ahead and step into creating a new forward curve widget. I'm going to go ahead and make it the full breadth of my workspace. And then we're going to go find some data. So let's go ahead and again pull that crude oil forward curve. We can change the colors, the look and feel if we want to. But mainly what I want to do right now is I want to look at really quickly multiple settled points of my curve. So let's look before the ceasefire and after the ceasefire that we kind of looked on our candlestick. So we saw a huge dip in price on the 8th versus the 7th. And let's go ahead and chart that curve out. Really quickly, we're able to identify and see on our charts that there's a massive drop in crude oil, right, on prompt month from $113 all the way down to $94. But fundamentally, as we look along the curve, it remains unchanged. So we know there's short-term geopolitical factors that are causing the quick drop or reprice of the near-term version of the curve, but fundamentally things seem to be unshifted and unchanged. This tells us the market is really they're focusing on near-term risk issue premiums while long-term fundamentals haven't changed significantly. And really cool too, we're looking at a forward curve charted on our dashboards. By the click of a button, we can get to the raw data points behind the scenes, and we can even see that live version of the forward curve and its chain kind of changing as prices are reflected along the curve. Desktop, we're looking at how folks are interacting with data and visualizing it on a web interface. But as we know in this market, there are still many traders, analysts, folks in middle office, back office. They interact with other types of tools and they interact with the data in their own way. We know um, folks love to live inside Excel. Folks love, like quants, love to extract data through Python. And we have tools for you as well. So whether you're looking at live data in a web interface or you're wanting to extract and view live data in your spreadsheets, we've got a live Excel add-in that allows you to extract data on the fly, build different queries, and potentially visualize, the market in a customized Excel view. And just to show you really quick how easy it is, perhaps we're in a world where we actually want to start extracting out crude, gas, right? Different versions of the market. We actually might want to extract all those and look at a date range really quickly. But through the Excel add-in, we can really, really, really easily extract raw data into our spreadsheets, and this becomes live. So as markets shift and change, you'll see pricing kind of reflected live in your spreadsheets. Also want to point out, we also have a Python wrapper. So if you live in Python and that's your world, we've got a Python wrapper SDK that can really help you get to the data behind the scenes through that tool. And then a big part of our business is delivering all of this data through an API, whether you need to feed a downstream system like an ETRM platform, you've got an accounting tool, or there's something like a data lake, a Snowflake, a Databricks. We've got APIs both in real-time push or like REST APIs where you could extract data via a pool. The most important part here to kind of showcase and explain to the market is that everyone is working off the same consistent audible view and speaking the same language when it comes to pricing.